Michael wants to know what council is doing to help get resources and money to entrepreneurs, people with disabilities, and those with a low income. So some different
Yeah, I mean,
avenues.
we've got quite a few programs in place. Our economic development department has, this is a priority for our council and our staff this year is growing local businesses, investing in local businesses. Our small business center at City Hall is open to everybody who might be interested in starting a business or just has questions on how they go about it. We have an accessibility officer, so if they have special needs, that coordinator we have works closely with our business community when either they're looking to either upgrade a store or a business, or if somebody with accessibility issue wants to start a specific business, she would be a great resource moving forward as well. And we also have an innovation center, which we've just recently opened, which I think is a great step up for the Kawartha Lakes. So it'd be a little tech, high growth industry. So it's not just general business stuff. It's you have to have a business plan. You have to apply to get into the innovation center. It's a little bit of a higher level, but studies have shown that when you're involved in an innovation center, your chance of success as an entrepreneur are quite a bit higher than if you're just trying to go it alone on your own. So I think we've got lots of resources in place to try to help, and no matter what your situation or what your business is, lots of people downtown would love to talk to you and sort of steer you through that process and help you out any way they can.
Super. Philip asks why our city isn't encouraging businesses to stay open longer during the summer, especially noting our downtown businesses shut down fairly early.
I mean, that's a great question. We don't, as a city, we don't try to tell business owners how to do their business. That would be a good question for the BIA, in Lindsay specifically, if they're the voice of local business, or a chamber of commerce would be a good conversation to have. They have meetings every month. They're open to the public. Businesses I know in downtown have tried staying open later. The customers don't come, so they try it for a while. Sometimes at Christmas, they'll stay open till 9 o'clock for a few weeks before Christmas. But it's a risk and reward, right? I mean, if the shoppers aren't coming to make it worthwhile for them to stay open, why would they do that, right? And it's one of those things that needs to be coordinated, because one or two opening their business late isn't going to be a draw. But if they can sometimes they'll put events on to stay open on a Friday night or a Saturday night till 9 o'clock, and all the businesses do it. So they'll get people coming as a result of that. But
like the fun 4 hours through the BIA.
Yeah, exactly. And that's I think it's a very valid question. I mean, there's people out and about. It's late. It's light at night. People like to be out and about in the summer when the weather's nice. The outdoor patios, the outdoor cafes. I guess the other question I could say is, why don't people in Lindsay shop more at night? And if they did, the businesses would probably stay open more at night.
Okay, fair enough. An advocate reader would like to know your plans for keeping more youth in Lindsay, more youth and young adults, I assume.
Yeah, I've been asked that before. It's a tough question. I would like to have a session with the youth to find out what it would take for them to stay in our community. I actually plan to go over at some point and have a conversation with the college, just to sort of get some feedback from some of our younger generation and say, I hear that comment a lot. What do you mean? What are you looking for? I don't have all the answers to that. I mean, we try to create as vibrant a community as we can. We try to, we're waiving DC charges. We have an innovation center. We've got a whole list of things that we're trying as a community to make us more business friendly, which we hope would keep youth in our community. We've got some developers coming along that are building homes that aren't quite so expensive. So we're hoping that keeps some of our younger people in the community where they can afford rents or, affordable, more attainable housing. Apartment complexes are coming in line, which is always good for young people that want to live home but can't afford to buy a home of their own. So, those kind of combinations we hope will help keep some of our younger people in town. And as more younger people stay in town, I think more businesses will open that cater to those younger people. And, it's a great question to ask some of the younger people, what would it take for you to stay in town? And, how do we sort of work that into our fabric of our community to try and appeal to as many people as possible? So,
yeah, maybe we should cover that in the Advocate at some point.
Yeah, I think it's a great comment, and it's a challenge. It's a challenge for a lot of different communities, and it really is just, I look forward to meeting with some youth and having that conversation with them, and let's find out exactly what they're talking about. Maybe they've got some ideas.
Okay, fair enough. An Advocate reader writes that there are few professional jobs in our town, So many people commute outside of our area. What are we doing to attract headquarters for larger businesses so that we could have more office jobs locally?
And I think that conversation goes back to the previous question a little bit, where, we as a municipality will always try to create an atmosphere that is business friendly, so businesses want to come here. We can't force a business to relocate here. Knocking on somebody's door and saying, we'll do this if you relocate to Kawartha Lakes. Well, you're probably 10th in line to knock on that door. So, we're putting a lot of items in place to help exactly with that. And one of them I keep referring to is, the development charges. We're waiving development charges on commercial and industrial. So if a business is looking to build an office space in the Kawartha Lakes, it'll never be cheaper than it is right now. Our price of land is considerably cheaper than many other areas and surrounding municipalities. So anybody, that we can't tell them to relocate here, but we can make it pretty attractive if they're looking to relocate and looking for somewhere to call home. So our economic development is working full tilt on that with the weapons that we've given them, as a council to try and become more attractive. And we're hoping we see over the next few years, I suspect you're going to see some pretty good results out of that initiative that we've taken as a city.
That's great. Just one more question in this segment. Rick says he lives in Lindsay, gets skidoos driving within 3 meters of his front door all winter long. According to city bylaws, this is legal, he admits. It's very dangerous, though, and very loud, he writes. My question is, why do we allow these machines to drive through our city? Seems unnecessary.
Why do we allow the snowmobiles to drive through Lindsay?
Yes.
I didn't know snowmobiles were allowed to drive through Lindsay. I don't know if they are. I know that we have certain trails, that they can access. I'm not sure if they're allowed to go up a median to get. I don't know. I don't have a lot of information on that, to be honest with you.
Well,
so
let's come back to that on a future show.
Yeah,
then. Maybe
I'm not sure they're allowed. I know ATVs aren't allowed on our roads at this point. That's being reviewed by the province. Snowmobiles, I know they can access a trail. I'm just not sure that they're allowed to go. If they're zipping up and down our roads, then I'm not sure that that's perfectly within our bylaw, but be worth looking into.